maybe in Diddy's, and then people are telling me Trump is going to pardon him. Okay, where do these people come out with this stuff? That Trump's going to pardon him. I mean, give me a break. You know what that would do to Donald Trump if he pardoned P. Diddy? Forget it. No way. He might have had a shot with Joe Biden, okay? But Biden's gone. He ain't coming back. Oh, Christ. I swear to God, the stuff on YouTube that people come up with, Diddy was rushed to the hospital. No, he wasn't rushed to the hospital, folks. Okay? They took me out. You know how many times I had to go see doctors and be at the hospital? I had a stent put on it at Presbyterian Hospital in Brooklyn. All right, they had to take me out one day. I got to tell you this story. This is how guys like us, we accept things, okay? They take me out, I'm chained, I'm shackled, I'm in the back of the van. I know instantly I'm going to be in that van all fucking day because the prison guards, okay? Even though when you're through with your appointment, they don't bring you right back to the prison. They drive around New York, they'll stop, they get a hot dog, a hamburger, never offer me a goddamn thing. Okay. But there's one time they bring me to NYU and New York University Hospital. And you go in the side door, I'm chained, I'm shackled, okay. And they bring you in the side door to the elevator, and we're going up like to the 5th floor. Now here I am, chained and shackled, I'm against the wall, one guard here, each side. The elevator stops on the 4th floor, and there's like 10 people that want to come on. And they're all looking at me. And I go, can you imagine? I said, all this for a speeding ticket? And the guards just bursted out laughing. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's not a picnic, And then when I had my stuff put in, I got a cuff on each one of my arms and each of my legs while they're doing the surgery. Okay. Yeah. So is it a great life prison? I don't recommend it for anybody. But if you want to stay in a life of crime, I'm talking to the young men, then you better put your head to it that you're going to be put in the biggest shithole, okay, that you could ever imagine. And my recommendation is there's so much opportunity in this world today. All right. Take advantage of it. Get educated. People don't read. People don't read today, Shaun.
They're all on YouTube.
They're all on YouTube. But then, okay, look at somebody posts, they did an AI now, all right? Somebody posted a picture of Diddy's house burning in Beverly Hills. He gets a couple 100,000 subscribers and all that there. I go in front of Diddy's house. It's not burning. There's no fires around there. People don't believe me. And I don't get those subscribers. I tell the truth. I can't get people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I swear to God. Thank God I don't count on social media to make my living. I am still a Hollywood fixer. If people come to me, they got a problem, I'm going to solve it. I'm going to resolve it, but they're going to retain me. Okay? It's legal, folks. I could do that. Any kind of problem people got, I'll resolve, but I don't do things for free. That's where I make my money.
Get your Diddy questions in, folks, and subscribe to Ori's channel. I'll put the link in the live chat. or if you've got MDC questions or Hollywood questions. So we've got a question from Pam. Why do you think people were so scared of Diddy that no one would say a word against him?
Well, a very good question. I think I'm glad you asked that. You know, I've done a lot of research on Diddy and a lot of things I hear on the streets. You heard that I knew Jimmy Henchman and a lot of people like that. I knew Suge Knight. All right. Tupac murder. You got this guy, Keefe, in Las Vegas, that's in prison. I guess he was in the car. I guess Orlando. Boy, the guy even got my real name is Orlando. All right, the killer, the guy that shot. All these people are dead except Keefe. And Keefe has not said it once, but several times that Puff Diddy offered $1 million. I believe it. But how? I believe that's being investigated. So what's the prosecutor's problem here? You got hearsay. How do they take that hearsay and put it into and get Diddy into the murder? If you go back in history, Diddy was uh before he had Bad Boy, he had that other company. All right. And how many people died mysteriously that? How many people around him, Kim Porter and others, that died mysteriously of some sort of pneumonia? It's no accident. I think one of his guards even said that did he try to do it? He survived. You know? So there's a lot of questions. And a lot of people have said, I heard earlier that, when Diddy first got arrested and all that, everybody's saying that, oh, he's going to get away with it because he's been a confidential informant. And I'm trying to figure, who did he inform on? Well, something that people don't realize, and the prison guard brought it out to me, that Diddy's inmate number is an old inmate number. Now, nobody gets somebody else's inmate number. Diddy's goes back. So we did some research, and all I could find, I found a record, 1995. It was, let me get it, hang on. Where is it? I had it.
Thanks for all of your questions, viewers. Ori's YouTube channel is in the description box and his Instagram. His website, his book, Accidental Gangster. I'll put it in the chat again now. And please keep your questions coming on Diddy, MDC, Hollywood.
Here it is, right here. All right. The complaint is threatened an individual. That's not no big deal. Plaintiff, United States versus Shaun, John Combs. For 1995 was when he got arrested. All right. In the Southern District of New York. But as you go through these things, on 5/19/1995, 1 month later, it is dismissed and signed by the magistrate in Washington, D.C. Now, why are you arrested in the Southern District of New York where the crime took place, but a magistrate in Washington, D.C. dismissed it? There's no other papers.
Wow.
Now, my researcher found this was amazing. Okay. So I questioned other people. I asked other people, legal people, and they said the case must be sealed. So had he been a confidential informant for a long time? I believe so. That's my theory. All right. He was probably doing other things. He got away with it. And, but this one thing here, he's not going to get away with it. Everybody's waiting for him to bring down who's above him. There's nobody above him. Okay. Nobody above him. People think Clive Davis. Clive Davis is with Joe Biden. Neither one of them know what they're doing. Okay. All right. Clive, what is he? 93 years old. All right. The guy's not going to. Maybe he was probably a pervert like a lot of them. Okay. I'm not saying the stories are not true. Okay. But you know, who are these individuals? Were there politicians, judges, and very powerful people at these freak off parties that they call them? I imagine that there were. Okay. How many videos do they have? They say they got 6, the prosecutors. Okay. If they got 6, it only takes one. Now, the one that's going to destroy him, and if you go to my YouTube channel, I posted it there again. All right. At the Intercontinental Hotel, just did this a few days ago. Okay. Where Diddy beaten and trashed Cassie Ventura like she was a rag. I mean, that, you know what? He should be crucified just for that alone. Okay? Forget how many people he had killed. Forget everything else. Just for beating women. You're a tough guy? No. You're a fucking punk, Diddy. And I hope you hear this. All right? Come after me. And I'm 80 years old. Come after me. I would love to. Oh, he can sue me too. What's he going to get? I don't give a shit.
You got a question from Ohio State girl. When will Diddy's co-conspirators' names come out, or will they? Because he must have had some people to enable him to run this enterprise.
Well, thus far, there's only been one superseding indictment. And now I want to make it clear because I'm going to do a special show about exactly what the RICO Act is. And not like somebody I know who had that asshole Rudy Giuliani on his show. I wouldn't have Rudy Giuliani in myself. Okay? He's the guy that destroyed more Italian lives single-handedly than anybody else. But people want to kiss his ass. Give me a break, okay? Give me a freaking break. All right? You know how many Italians are in prison right now to this day because of him? And they don't belong there? And you have put them on your show? You think you were a gangster? No, you weren't. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. It just upsets me. They take this guy and they want to put him on a plateau.
You got a question from Angel.
Huh?
You got a question from Angel? How would the mafia deal with people like Diddy?
If somebody came to us in those days and we know it, Diddy probably would not be around.
Michelle wants to know, was the mob aware of Epstein's list?
No, we were not. Look at what other people do. Look, we're gangsters, we're criminals. All we're concerned about is getting away with the crimes that we did. Okay, we want to go out. All right, we want to go out and enjoy our life, have a happy day, make a score today, and we want to be able to enjoy my life as best as we could. We're gangsters. I don't care. You're a gangster. You're doing this. You're doing that. That's your business, not mine. We don't get in other people's business unless we have to. Unless it's brought to us that somebody did something wrong and there might have to be a sit down to resolve it or however necessary means to bring it to fruition. But hope that answers the question.
Yeah,
But
you're getting asked for your thoughts on OJ.
listen, I knew about Harvey Weinstein years ago. And how I knew was through a friend of mine who was married to a famous actress that Harvey Weinstein tried to do something. And he told me about it. I said, well, that's wrong. I said, you want me to handle it? No, like everybody else in Hollywood, they knew about it, but nobody wanted to do anything because Harvey Weinstein was a very powerful individual. Now from Harvey Weinstein, this woke thing started. And it's got everybody in Hollywood frightened. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know female executives at studios that if they get on the elevator, guys won't get on with them. Okay, they feel offended now. Okay, because this woke thing went way overboard. But you don't hear about the stars who are who's worth 200, $300 million and they're A-list actors. You don't hear them coming out and say, yeah, I went to bed with this guy and that guy, and I'm an A-list actress and I'm worth $300 million. You don't hear them coming out, do you? No, you hear the ones who couldn't get a job, who couldn't act. They should have been delighted that he even wanted to go to bed with them. Forgive me, ladies. All right. What he did was entirely wrong, but does he deserve this much time in prison for it? Seriously. Because, and no matter it's happening in corporations, it's happening in government, it's happening today still. It's just part of life. All right. Some men are just no good. All right. And they're a little mental up here. Or maybe all of us men are a little bit mental. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you.
What about OJ?
OJ is another individual. Got a story about that. Many years, I told you I knew Joe Esposito. Joe Esposito, who was Elvis's right-hand man, owned a limousine company here up on Sunset Boulevard. My car was in auto being fixed. It was in a mechanic's garage. So I needed a car for the weekend. So Joe let me take one of his limousines. On Monday morning, he called. My car wasn't going to be ready till Tuesday. He called me Monday. He said, we need the car. We got to get OJ. He's got to get to the airport. He said, Ori, will you drive him? I said, no fucking way am I driving him. I said, no. I said, call Emilio. Tell Emilio to drive to OJ's house. I'll meet Emilio there with the limousine. I'll take Emilio's car home. And so when I pulled in where he lived on Rockingham there, he's in the driveway and his wife's in the doorway, frightened as shit, and he's yelling at her like crazy. I mean, it was so. I mean, he was abusing her probably during the whole relationship. Okay. But on the other hand, he was very jealous of her, uh, and he killed her and the other guy. All right, I firmly believe Elvis did it without question. There was no mob affiliated with that there either, like these rumors start. Okay, on YouTube that he knew Gambino guys, and no, they were not involved. So people come up with this shit and want to put the mafia into everything. All right, and pretty soon Martha Stewart will be putting us in her recipes. Okay, but then no, not and I met him and his wife, Joe Stellini, on Pico Boulevard. He had a restaurant. Good friends with OJ, and New Year's Eve party. I did meet him then. That was my first time meeting OJ. Look, you live in Los Angeles. When you're going out, you can't help but to run in and meet other people. Okay, and I was out every night in those days. That was my life.
KP wants to know, who's the most corrupt person you met in Hollywood?
Woo! I don't know. It depends what day of the week it is because there's a lot. A conmen in Hollywood. Hollywood's the worst. You got so many guys saying they're producers, director, this, that, and never done a goddamn thing only so they can get in bed with a woman. I mean, you won't believe. And everybody says they know somebody, but at the end of the day, they know nobody. It's, you know, I'm very happy with Donald Trump appointing John Boyd, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone as ambassadors. Had a meeting here with some prominent people in Hollywood yesterday. And I brought that up. I said, is this going to change anything? Because, in Hollywood, you were a Republican, you got blackballed. And people don't understand what blackballed means. All right. Well, think about Jimmy Woods. Okay. Jimmy Woods was one of the first to come out years ago. You don't see him in any movies, do you? Okay. I know of a director who won Best Picture of the Year. Okay. Won 3 Oscars for his movie. But because he made a statement one time about, that he sided with the conservative side. All right. Even though he won the Oscar, he got no reviews. I mean, they got ways. I'd like to know who this small group of people are. Okay, they'll probably blackball me too. Okay, but it, those are the kind of things that It's just Diddy made a lot of money, and he didn't utilize his money proper way like somebody else who was a billionaire. Okay, I don't know if you know it. He went from a net worth of $900 million. He's down to 300 million now. Still a lot of money. 300. His home is not selling. Nobody wants to buy it. Over here in Holmby Hills. Nobody. They call it icky. But the same scenario, you got people in Hollywood or in major corporations, they got the power, okay? And they don't utilize that power in the right way. To use it to blackball somebody, first of all, that's a waste of your time. Should not be done. It's not honorable because those who think that way, then they are not thinking that we're a democratic society. They are the ones, they'll call the others Hitler and so forth, but they are the real ones doing that kind of stuff. They don't realize it. Why can't we have a friendly world? Why can't we all get along? I'm a former gangster. I got my beliefs. You got your beliefs. They may differ. We could agree to disagree. But hey, I'm going to still sit down with you and have a lunch or a dinner. It's not going to stop me. We just think differently. My neighbor thinks differently than I do. I mean, think of what a boring world it would be if we all thought the same way.
Viewers, we've got 15 minutes left before the next show starts. To get your final questions in for Ori. And Jen wants to know, how is the vibe in Hollywood after the fires?
The vibe is good. Everybody's worried about, whether how long it's going to take them to build, because they got all these restrictions, and that's why a lot of people outside of California don't want to come in California to do business because of all the red tape. All right. I just had somebody here this morning, my gal who helps me with my, Golden Live and that there, that a producer she worked for, they have moved to Connecticut. Okay. But a lot of people are moving out of California. Taxes, we pay the highest in the country. We get nothing for it. You want to go on business, it's the red tape you got to go through. All right. They just hurt the people. They're hurting the people. And, but I think that's going to change. We're a free country. And our government has got to allow the people of this country to be free. And I think we're getting there. And I hope we do.
So you got a question. Was Michael Jackson a good man, or were the allegations true?
From people that I know who knew Michael, they liked Michael. So I can't say anything bad about him in that way. I didn't know him. And, the guy, I still listen to him too every day on the radio. All right. Definitely one of the best. Everybody wanted to be like him. Like a lot of young men, he had difficulties with his family, and, a lot of bad things happened to him. And I guess, supposedly he did bad things to young kids. But I don't know that for a fact. I didn't see it. So I can't say anything bad about Michael.
What do you think of the early death of Michael and Prince?
I think Michael Jackson, what?
How he died young. Michael Jackson and Prince died young.
He died too young. He died too young. Boy, Whitney Houston, he died too young. And then who was it yesterday saying they think Diddy had something to do with her dying. I forgot who. That came out yesterday. Somebody on YouTube. I thought about it. Wait a minute. It's a Clive Davis party. And Clive was notorious for these parties with a Grammy. And it happened right down the street at the Hilton Hotel here. Of course, Diddy was always at Clive Davis's parties, right? Does anybody know I heard they had a Clive Davis party, but was Clive Davis here? I don't know. I'm trying to find that information. Nobody can give me the answer.
So you're getting asked if you've got any stories about John Gotti.
I met John twice. On both occasions, I was with Sonny Franchise, and I gotta say, John with me, he met me, shook my hand, and was a very nice guy. Can't say nothing. You got to admit, John was a real man. He was a man's man, no question about it. Uh, he wasn't punked around in prison like a lot of people want to say he was. Never fucking happened. No, he was a good looking, I'll tell you, he was a good looking guy. All right. And very personable. So if you met John, he was a guy that you would, type of individual you would instantly like.
So Hamamoto wants to know about Kirk Aoran, who
Oh,
beat out Howard Hughes in casino ownership.
very interesting. Oh my God. Kirk Aoran. Boy, that going really way back, my friend. Boy, that, you must be my age. Kirk was a powerhouse. I don't really know much about him, but I know he was a powerhouse and he was a very smart guy. And he beat Howard Hughes. And did he own more hotels than Howard Hughes? I don't know. I can't remember. I got to be honest with you.
Did you know legendary Hollywood producer Robert Evans?
I do have a story, but I cannot say it.
Oh, you tease.
I know a lot of people who knew him and they loved him, and he was a great guy. But I know stories that nobody else knows, and I will never ever say it.
Sabrina wants to know if Diddy will spend the rest of his days in prison.
I believe so. I believe so. Figure he's what, 57, 58 years old? If they offered him, if they offered him, do you hear my phone?
No?
If they offered him a plea deal, if they offered him a plea deal, he probably wouldn't take it anyway. What would they offer? 20, 25 years? I don't, Diddy can't, I'm going to be surprised if Diddy survives prison for another year. And look, his trial is supposed to be in May. I doubt very seriously he's going to begin in May. I'd be very surprised. Because it takes a long time, in NDC especially, before you get into the courtroom. And he's got a RICO. They're going, now, somebody asked, why is there no other co-defendants? First of all, make it clear. You could indict one individual on a RICO, okay? They can do that. Now, they could have unindicted co-conspirators, which might happen because the people around them who helped them with these things, I guarantee you, they are all cooperating and working off. All right, so they don't get prison time or they get very little prison time. All right, they're cooperating so they could become unindicted co-conspirators. And I keep going back. There is no statute of limitation on murder charges. None at all. So they got a lot of murders going back. I don't know if they're investigating or not, but I would assume that they are. Now, they came out with, it was, some people want to say it was a big deal with a superseding, but so they left it a little, no big deal. There were no additional charges. but they're going to have additional stuff on this guy. I just feel it. And if they don't, that might be a good shot for him. Could he win the trial? You mentioned John Gotti. People love John Gotti. People don't love Diddy. Okay? There's a difference here. But John, remember when they called him the Teflon Don because he kept winning his trials. But if you recall, it was Sammy Gravano who was finding the jurors and paying the jurors. Now, Diddy's got a lot of money. Does he have anybody out there who's capable of finding out who the jurors are? And look, you offer a juror a couple $1 million that some guy that's working in a factory. So there's so much that could happen. Will it happen? I don't know. Will the government be looking out for that? Okay, we now got a new somebody, Pam Bondi, who I happen to love, good looking gal, all right, is now head of the Department of Justice here. So I imagine she'll be appointing somebody in charge of the Southern District in New York. They're going to go after Diddy. They have to. I just can't see any other way.
LP wants to know do you have any regrets, sir?
You know, people ask me that question a lot. Like everybody else, I could have regrets. I try not to have any because a regret to me is a negativity, and I don't have time to think negativity. I gotta get on with the future, and I try to think positive, happy, and I try to live every day of my life to try to make somebody else's life happy. And if you all do that there, you're going to find yourself being very happy. It'll come back to you tenfold. So I want to thank you, Shaun. This was awesome. I could stay here all day with you.
Well, we've got 3 minutes. We've got 3 minutes left before the next show starts. So do you want to tell the viewers what they can look forward to on your YouTube channel?
Okay, something that you can look for we're putting together. Everybody heard of Bob Marley, right? Everybody knows Bob Marley is. But very few know who Danny Sims was. Danny Sims is the guy that discovered Bob Marley. Now, Danny was a very, very dear friend of mine. In addition, when Danny was here in Los Angeles, I was the guy that took care of Danny and protected him. When Danny was in New York, it was Joe Piney from the Gambino crime family. It was not Sonny Franchese, like somebody else was saying. Joe Piney from the Gambino crime family. When in London, my best mate, I miss this guy today, it was Joey Pyle. And Joey Pyle's son, Joey Jr., he's like my third son. And it's really funny. A young man came here a couple of weeks ago. He worked for Danny. And his mother makes tamales for me, and he brings me a big thing from my freezer once a year. And we're sitting, I said, we should do a tribute to Danny. And that evening, I'm sitting here and thinking about it. I said, Jesus Christ, the people I met in my life, the things I done. I go, Ori, how the fuck you do all this? And I'm thinking about who Danny really was, okay? And other things that Danny did and how he was. So I made a phone call to Roger Steffens, who's got the world's most memorabilia on Bob Marley, who I met through Danny Sims, and I ended up doing the World of Reggae featuring Bob Marley at the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. Very successful exhibit. We made a lot of money. And now we got different people. And I call Roger. He said, Ori, there's a movie going to be made about Danny. I cannot disclose who the actor that's going to play Danny is, but there is already an actor, A-list guy. Everybody will know. All right. So once I'm allowed to say it freely, I'll let you know. You're going. So how did Bob Marley begin? Danny Sims was the guy that discovered him. So Danny Sims had Johnny Nash before that, and he blew Johnny Nash up. And that's how we met Bob Marley, and then it was Danny who got him to Island Records with Chris Blackwell. So it's just another thing that we're working on. We got another meeting Friday on it. So we're assembling more people. We're trying to figuring out how we're going to work all this out. I don't know yet, but we're going to have something for you on that there. And you're going to be hearing something very shortly about the movie after this book. All right. The Accidental Gangster, from insurance salesman to Hollywood fixer. How did a man from Rome, New York, end up meeting all these people that I met in my lifetime? Okay. How did I meet Sonny Frank Chase? It's here. How did I meet Frank Costello? It's here. You want to know about gangster stuff? It's here. You want to know how to persevere, be strong in life, and get ahead in life? It's here, folks. All right? I guarantee you. And if you want an autographed copy, please go to my website. I'm sure Shaun put it someplace here. All right? And you can purchase an autographed copy. Otherwise, it's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And if you have not yet, please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because you never know what I'm going to come up with. Subscribe, put your notification, because I don't know when I'm going to go on. I just go on when I want to. I'm not a guy that works in the studio. I don't have a team of people around me. I just do it automatically, and you get it raw as I say it. Thank you, Shaun. I love you, buddy. How's your little baby doing? How growing?
He's doing great. Yeah, much love, Ori, from across the pond. You're a class act. Everyone's loved your stories. We'll hope you come back soon, and you take care, my friend.
Thank you, Shaun. God bless. All my love and respect to you. Take care, everybody.
Cheers.
See you.
Good night. Bye. What a great guest, folks. So next up, we have got Tommy Scoville coming on to talk about the Jay-Z motion against Busby getting dropped. I've seen Professor Hamamoto in the chat. Perhaps we can get him on later this week to talk about the Grammys and the fall of Hollywood. On Saturday, we've got Lee Harvey Oswald's best friend, coming on live from Minsk, Siberia at 5 p.m. UK, which is going to be phenomenal with all this JFK interest. So we're going to end the stream. We're going to go over to the stream with Tommy, and I'll also weave in the Epstein list news that broke today. So thank you for tuning in, folks. Check out Ori's links, his YouTube channel, his book, his website, his Instagram, and we will see some of you shortly in the stream with Tommy. This one will transfer you over. If it doesn't, click on the channel icon, and we will see you soon. The night's just getting warmed up, folks. Cheers.